channels available in high definition.
Welcome to the gateway to Ontario's cottage country, where people come to rest, relax, and enjoy the sounds of summer. Tonight at Barrie Speedway, we'll wind them up, roar them up, and 21 cars will tear it up.
The 1/3 mile oval of Barrie Speedway is one rough and tumble bull ring. The racing action is non-stop, bumper to bumper, and sometimes nose to door panel. The walls can come at you in a hurry at this fierce battleground of speed and excitement. One competitor who has tamed Barrie and the competition is DJ Kennington. Last year, the Castrol Kid dominated both events, winning each time. Can the number 17 Syntec Dodge be triumphant again? Welcome to round 3 of the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, presented by Sirius Satellite Radio on TSN. From Barrie Speedway in Oro, Ontario, this is the A&W 300. Hello and welcome. I'm Dave Bradley. Along with me is Billy Rouse Jr. and Todd Lewis is trackside. Billy, Mother Nature has been hard on us this season. Of course, we had the rain out in St. Eustache, and then Mossport ended with some terrible weather. Here, rain has been floating in and out of the area, but it looks pretty nice now.
Mossport last weekend, that just added some excitement to the racing with the rain at the end there. But you know what? The clouds have been in and out here today. But it is Canada Day weekend. Ontario long weekend. You got to expect a little tough weather. But it's sun's out now. It's going to come. The fans are all here waiting to see a great race. And that's what they're going to see here at this little speed plant. Some exciting racing.
Absolutely. And one driver who's had his stuff together so far this season is the 22 of Scott Steckley. A 42-point cushion on Peter Gibbons. And, of course, J.R. Fitzpatrick and Don Thompson Jr., his teammate, they're both in the hunt as well.
Wow, the 22 car, Scott Steckley, what can you say? Unsponsored, running really well. His confidence level is up. You know what? He's always been a good little driver. They got good equipment, but the real deal is Greg Gibson, his crew chief, now has the communication down pat. Preparation's good, and they're running strong.
J.R. Fitzpatrick, another driver who's running strong to start the season, picked up the win at Mossport, but you know what? They didn't sit idle, made some changes. And with J.R. now is our very own Todd Lewis. Todd?
Thanks, Dave. Well, it's been discussed at Fitzpatrick Motorsports for a little while, but J.R. Fitzpatrick and the team got themselves a new Dodge this past week. Actually, it's a proven Dodge. DJ Kennington won in this car twice here at Barrie Speedway last year. They like the power. They tested it at Flamborough Speedway earlier this week. Still a lot to learn. We'll see how this split team with J.R. in the Dodge and Johnny in the Chevrolet lasts. Guys?
Thanks, Todd. Well, Billy, what do you think of that?
Wow, what can you say? We just won a race on the road course with a Chevrolet, and we turned to Dodge. But as a racer, I want to tell you why, at least what I believe why. Mopar puts a lot of money into the program, but even before we get to the money, you only need to look up and down pit road and understand Mopar motors are strong. They make more torque than a Chevrolet, and they make a little more horsepower. Back to Mopar. They put money into finishing positions. Money buys speed. JR likes speed. Welcome to Dodge.
Well, let's get this one underway. We'll send it down trackside for the command to start your engines.
How about the words we've been waiting for?
Gentlemen, start your engines.
A&W's Roger Barnes and NASCAR legend Bobby Allison give the command as Don Thompson Jr., your pole sitter, fires up his number 4 Home Hardware Chevy.
And alongside him, Mr. Consistency, Scott Steckley, and our reigning champion, Andrew Ranger. So it's Chevrolet, Dodge, and Ford up front.
And there's DJ Kennington, that cool Castrol Syntec paint scheme. He sits in 4th. We'll have 7 onboard cameras here for you tonight. One in the A&W Monte Carlo of Jason White. Also have an onboard camera in the Mopar Dodge of Ron Beauchamp Jr.
Well, Dave, a new track record was set here tonight for the A&W 300, and Don Thompson Jr., who is no stranger to fast times, captured his 2nd pole of the season.
Well, the Hamilton, Ontario native circled this 1/3 of a mile tri-oval in a time of 13.903 seconds. He and Scott Steckley are on the front row of tonight's Dupla Colors starting grid as the cars start to roll off in their formation lap. Row number 2 brings us Andrew Ranger, and there is DJ Kennington in the 17. Row 3 has Dave Whitlock in the 39. Kerry Mix drives the 02. He'll start to the outside of row number 3. Mark Dilley, Barrie native, in the number 9, and Brad Graham in the 19 make up row number 4 here tonight. Anthony Simone, rookie, in the number 95, and Derek Lynch in the 77 start in row 5. Row 6 has another Barrie native, John Gunn, in the 12, and J.R. Fitzpatrick, his first run into Dodge. Alex Tagliani in the 7, and Ron Beauchamp Jr. in the 60 make up row number 7, and then look back to row number 8. Peter Gibbons in the number 1, and Jason Hathaway in the 3. Row number 9 brings us Kent Noon in the 18, Joey McComb in the 56. He cut his teeth here at Barrie Speedway. Doug Brown in the number 10, and Jim Lapsevich in the 25, starting row number 10. And then in row number 11, Jason White in the A&W Monte Carlo.
So Dave, let's take a look at the Allied Steel Building's race analysis for tonight. We're going to start 21 cars. They're going to go 300 laps in this tight little bull ring. I suspect one stop for tires and fuel.
And Billy, as we mentioned, it was raining earlier today. That's made it very, very humid here this evening. 25 degrees, so it's awfully hot out. That'll play a factor here as well. With some news and one of the newcomers to the series, let's throw it down pit side. Here's Todd.
Fellas, couple of notes on our top qualifying rookie, Anthony Simoni of the number 95 car. Never been to this track before, and it could be a handful. Said it took him a few laps to learn it, but he's starting to feel really comfortable, and he was very careful during qualifying. Got himself the 9th qualifying spot, but he said he had lots of speed left. Look for him to try to get up towards the front as we move along tonight.
That's just one of the many drivers to keep an eye on as the field makes its way through corners 3 and 4. Don Thompson Jr., Scott Steckley, Sean Gibbs waves a green, and we are going the NW 300.
Steckley got an awesome jump off that outside front row, and he'll lead down the backstretch.
Steckley with Thompson in behind through 3 and 4 for the first time. Looks like Scott Steckley is going to pick up 5 bonus points, all important for the Castrol points race. For your points leader, Scott Steckley, and we're bumping and nudging already.
Wow, Andrew Ranger just roughing up DJ Kemmington in that 17 Dodge.
Kennington now stuck on the outside as Kerry Mix in the Beyond Digital Imaging 02 hooks his nose in as we take a look at the Duplicolor wall cam.
Well, I hear all that horsepower go by in that front stretch. This is awesome so far.
Last year's champion Andrew Ranger in the Walmart 27 Ford Fusion sits now in 3rd place, chasing the 2 leaders who have opened up a little bit of a gap on the rest of the field. About 3 or 4 car lengths now.
That's on board with Dave Whitlock looking back at his teammate of Mark Dilley. Mark Dilley's got hundreds of laps at this little bull ring.
Half a car back.
Here's spotters, and spotters all important here at the track. Such a tight track, I was going to mention. How important is it to rely on those spotters to tell you where cars are?
Well, with the new containment seats, Dave, and so fast this racetrack is, you rely totally on the spotter. You can look in the mirror, but if you look in the mirror, you could be in the back of the car in front of you, so you rely 100% on what that man tells you, or woman.
Kerry Mix moving, you mentioned a woman, Susan Mix, the spotter on the 02 car. Kerry Mix as he moves that Ford Fusion up into 3rd spot past Andrew Ranger. Now Ranger's the one on the high side as Kennington comes through and puts a Syntec Dodge into 4th spot.
Oh, Kerry Mix, just a wily veteran. He cut his teeth on these little bull rings. Barrie, Sunset, Sauble. He knows how to get around these short tracks.
Inside.
Andrew Ranger getting shoveled back a couple more spots as Mark Dilley dives underneath his teammate Dave Whitlock in the Dickies number 39. Also goes through to pick up a spot, but there is a gap behind Dilley. Now Ranger takes advantage and gets down in behind that number 9 Dodge.
Oh, Ranger getting a little bit of the chrome horn as well.
So the lead continues to be held by the 22 of Scott Steckley, followed by Don Thompson Jr. There's a battle for 11th spot with Derek Lynch and Ron Beauchamp Jr., the Allied Steel Buildings. Number 77 of Lynch has that 11th spot. Jason Hathaway in there too.
Wow, we talked earlier. Whoa, Beauchamp gets loose going to the corner. He goes off the front end of the 3 car into the 3rd corner, and he takes over the spot.
So now Beauchamp takes a look at the 3 of Jason Hathaway as Hathaway sits in 12th spot. Beauchamp tries to regain his composure and get that rhythm back. Billy, how tough is it to get that rhythm back once you've lost it?
Well, the crew chief, the spotter, got to get on the radio right away, calm their driver down, get them to hit their marks so they don't get freight trained like's happening right now to Ron Beauchamp Jr.
Did you see how close Peter Gibbons got to that inside wall coming off of 4? He's trying to dive underneath the 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick, looking for a way by as the 60 of Ron Beauchamp Jr. falls all the way back to 16th now. So he really has to get back into that rhythm, or it could be trouble on that Mopar Dodge.
Well, Ron Beauchamp Jr., good little driver, lots of talent, but they're just missed the mark here on the chassis, that's for sure.
Definitely trouble in the Lucas Oil 56 of Joey McComb, well off the pace on the front straightaway, and this will call for the first caution of the evening, and trouble at 4 as well as Beauchamp goes around in the Mopar Dodge. So McComb slows into corner 1, and Beauchamp spins in turn 4 as the caution flag waves here in the A&W 300.
Well, some unfortunate circumstances for sure, but we're seeing guys race like it's the last lap, not so early in the race. We'll be back with more in the 300.
Round number 3 of the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series from Barrie Speedway is brought to you by Castrol Syntec. Unlock the power. By Mopar, authentic performance. And by Duplicolor, the premier brand leader in automotive paints, primers, and coatings. Well, Scott Steckley leads the field back to green here on lap number 30 of the A&W 300.
Oh, hard contact down into turn 1.
You saw fiberglass flying as Jason White, the A&W 21, got into the back wheel of the Home Hardware Chevy of Don Thompson Jr. No caution, but heavy damage to that 21 car.
Well, look for debris off the front of that car. That fender is hung right in there by the tire. It certainly won't take much for it to come off.
Well, Jason White was racing hard to try and get back on the lead lap. The first car a lap down. Of course, Alex Tagliani received the tow truck in a box free pass during that caution period.
Well, everybody on the outside, and the outside's not the fast way around here, but you got to get that car to handle up top. Oh, a big chain reaction coming off of turn 2.
And this is what can happen on a tight track such as Barrie Speedway. John Gaunt, Jason Hathaway, you see the 10 of Doug Brown, but the most damage to the 12 of John Gaunt. Hathaway with the nose completely sheared off that Snap-on Tools Dodge.
Well, we got the left front locked up. It's sitting up on the nose, just sliding down the front stretch. All kinds of structure damage. I don't see any fluid coming out, though.
As we go on board the 39 of Dave Whitlock.
Wow, you see somebody gets in the left rear corner of the Whitlock car, turns them around, it just stacks up to 12 and the 3.
So Jason Hathaway with damage. Todd's in his pit. Todd?
Extensive body damage to that number 3 Snap-on Tools car. You can see the reciprocating saw going to work. It won't be the last time we'll see this tonight here at Barrie Speedway, guys, as the body gets pulled off the number 3 of Jason Hathaway.
So work continues. Big crowd on hand here tonight. Let's take a moment with Todd for tonight's Whelen Insider.
One of the great time and money savers for race teams is a car wrap. Now, all of the graphics and colors on this 02 car for Kerry Mix used to have to be done in stages. Beyond Digital Imaging has provided car wraps, which really saves a lot of time. In fact, the entire car can be done in about 7 hours. Another benefit to race teams, if you're involved in a collision, BDI provides perimeter repair kits. You don't even have to take the body panels off the cars. Smooth out the surface, clean it up, and then the next wrap goes on to cover only the affected area. It's great for one-race sponsorships and much more. It's a great way to maximize shop time and save money.
That's for sure. And BDI also wraps the Walmart cars of Tagliani and Andrew Ranger.
And those cars will look real sharp. Restart here on lap number 42. It's the second restart of the evening. Scott Steckley leads them out of 4. Hits that restart line. Green flag waves, so we're back underway.
Thompson gets a real good jump that time. He's going to hang in there on the outside because he has yet to gain his 5 points for leading a lap here at Barrie.
Thompson strong on the high side. You see that body damage from the last restart involved with Jason White. Now he's going to hang it on the outside. He'll lead that lap. Pick up 5 bonus points.
And Chevrolet to the front. Young J.R. Fitzpatrick, first race in a Dodge, and his teammate, a Chevrolet, is leading here at Barrie.
Well, you got to think Don Thompson Jr. has a lot of laps out front in recent years in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, even back into the CASCAR Series. Thompson has led a lot here at Barrie Speedway.
Well, he is 7-time champion of the old CASCAR division, Dave.
His teammate J.R. Fitzpatrick currently sitting in the 11th spot. Good look at Scott Steckley trying to put a move on the 4 of Don Thompson Jr.'s. Mark Dilley hangs in 3rd, not too far behind.
What a great shot. You see that 22 of Steckley as he powers down the straightaway and he drops onto the brake pedal. The nose comes right down and seals off against the asphalt.
How about Anthony Simone in that 95 car, the Crown Modular Monte Carlo, doing a wonderful job in his first time here at Barrie Speedway. Never even seen the place before coming here earlier today. Really has it figured out in a hurry.
Well, not a surprise to me, Dave. Oh, Fitzpatrick's around on the front stretch.
And it looks like the Mopar Dodge Ron Beauchamp Jr. into him as well. And looks like we may have some fluid down on the track. Steam coming from that 60 Dodge of Ron Beauchamp Jr.
Oh, the fluid's running all over. Oh, it just spills out the front. There's the 12 car showing extensive damage. Let's have a look here.
On board with J.R. Fitzpatrick.
Well, he got some help from the 39 of Dave Whitlock.
And there is the Mopar Dodge Ron Beauchamp Jr. putting it behind the wall as the crew goes to work. Likely a rad needed to be changed on that car, but they will go laps down as the 2008 Dodge Caliber SRT4 pace car is pulled off, and 7-time CASCAR champion Don Thompson Jr. will lead the field for restart. Number 3, green flag waves. We're back underway.
Steckley up in that high groove, see if he can make that Mopar Thunder down the backstretch. No, Don Thompson, the preferred lane down the bottom. And here comes Mark Dilley for a look as well.
Well, that's the first time the leader who has taken the green has actually led the first lap after a restart. It's been Don Thompson Jr. and Scott Steckley swapping spots in the front of the field, but here comes Mark Dilley for the first time near the front.
Well, we talked about Mark Dilley knowing his way around this little speed plant, and he's showing it right now.
And we got more smoke from the 39 Dickies Dodge of Dave Whitlock. No spin, but it looks like a motor gone awry on that Dodge Avenger. Big trouble.
Gibbons almost upside down, goes over the front of Simone.
Heavy damage to the crown modular 95 of Anthony Simone. Peter Gibbons did Dukes of Hazzard style over the front wheel, and there is the 39 of Dave Whitlock stopped on the infield.
Well, obviously, Dave Whitlock's lost a motor in that Dodge of his, but that really didn't get it all going. Here we go in the replay. Down into turn 1. They're all checking up. The 02 gets a tap to the 17. That gets him sideways. We're 4 wide. Peter powers down to the inside. Simone's there, and right over the top he goes. That's exciting stuff.
So the 39 Whitlock car is done for the day. A blown motor and heavy damage to the front of the 95. The wheel and safety crew cleans the track. Thompson leads. Welcome back to the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. While we were in break, John Gaunt got into the back of Jim Lapsevich, ending the 25 Tim Hortons day. His longtime friend and old crew chief, though, Don Thompson, leads the A&W 300 here on lap 88. Not for long, though, and Scott Steckley once again powers around the outside.
Well, as we spoke in the opening, the confidence level of this young driver up front, this Herb Dodge, is just tremendous. The crew chief and him are communicating well, and look at the performance.
And look at the battle we've got for second as well. Don Thompson Jr. on the inside. DJ Kennington up high. Lots of speedy try in the low line through 1 and 2, so that may be giving the upper hand to DJ Kennington as he continues to ride the high line. Now takes over second spot.
Tuck her down a bit. Tuck her down, tuck her down. Good, clear all around.
You gotta love the spotter slash coach going on there. He was telling him, tuck her down, clear, get her to the bottom, because that's where it's speedy around here.
Getting to the bottom is what Doug Brown wants to do, and then Haldax number 10, brand new car underneath Doug Brown here today as he tries to work his way down to the inside lane. Can't get down as there's cars jamming up underneath there. Derek Lynch, one of them in the Outlet Steel Buildings, number 77. Now Brown gets down.
Dougie Brown, brand new McCall car is working well for him. He got it down in behind Derek Lynch, and Derek Lynch is a good guy to follow because he's ultra patient.
Ultra patient and ultra smooth, too. Derek Lynch, one of the smoothest drivers on the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series Tour.
Let's go on board with Mark Dilley. He's no stranger to this place. See how nice and easy his hands were on the wheel? That car is working well.
There's Doug Brown settling into 7th spot, and the 10 is Andrew Ranger and J.R. Fitzpatrick. Battle for position side by side. Look at Fitzpatrick diving hard into 1 and 2, but Ranger comes back strong on the outside.
Oh, he's working that thing just awful hard. That car, when DJ drove it, was Scooby-Doo, too, and it won here twice in this series.
Inside.
Once again, the spotters coming to the aid of the drivers as Mark Dilley looks for third up underneath the Home Hardware Chevy Monte Carlo of Don Thompson Jr. Dilley puts that Dodge up in the 3rd spot.
And here comes the 02 of Kerry Mix. He's looking to hunt down. Oh! He gets into that Chevrolet. Thompson, great save. Around he goes. No contact.
How did Thompson keep that off the wall? Either way, he loops it, calls for the caution here in the A&W 300, trying to get it fired back up and stay on the lead lap.
Oh, a very agitated Don Thompson Jr.
You saw Scott Steckley, the leader, slow. We'll take another look at it.
Oh, he turned down into the corner, but the 02 of Kerry Mix was already there. That's just a racing deal. You got to have your spotter tell you who's there.
JR finds his number on the wall, guys, and then turns it in along pit road. The crew going to work and doing left side tires first. His teammate, Don Thompson Jr. of the Home Hardware Chevy alongside. It'll be left side tires here as well, along with fuel, and also a wrench goes into the left rear for an adjustment.
Thanks very much, Todd. The field starting to gather up here for the 6th restart of the A&W 300. The Dodge Caliber SRT4 pace car is off on a pit lane. Scott Steckley leads the field to green. DJ Kennington up on the outside there. You see the field all tightly bunched up behind the 2 leaders. Now Steckley looks for that restart line. He hits it. The green flag waves, so we're back up to speed.
Down into turn 1, side by side, a pair of Dodges. See who's got the best one down the backstretch.
Interesting side note, Peter Gibbons, who had reported throttle linkage troubles had dropped off the lead lap. He now sits 14th after picking up the tow truck in a box free pass.
And DJ Kennington just picked up 5 bonus points for leading that lap.
And they all count, don't they, Billy?
You betcha. At the season's end, it could come down to 5 points to win the championship.
Well, it looks like DJ Kennington and the Castrol Syntac Dodge Avenger wants to do more than just lead 1 lap.
Oh, listen to that power go by. It's awesome. But up front, it's all 3, the top 3 Mopars.
Kennington sliding back just a touch into a battle with the number 9 Dodge of Mark Dilley as Dilley keeps it down to the inside of the track. Now, Dilley teaches a driving school here at Barrie Speedway on off weekends, so you have to know he's got 1,000 laps here. He really knows the ins and outs of this tricky tri-oval.
Wow, it was good to see his hands again. I've commented twice now. It's how easy his hands on the steering wheel. The car's working really well, and he just needs to be patient.
Patience definitely have to be preached to Mark Dilley. Got in the back of Steckley that time, wiggled him a little bit. A battle for 5th now. Doug Brown and Andrew Ranger, those 2 cars have been glued together all day. A spin, it's Tagliani up in 2.
Tagliani gets spun around. He's going to stay on the lead lap, though the caution is out.
Just in front of the leaders goes Alex Tagliani as he straightens up. As we go under caution once again here in the A&W 300, Scott Steckley leads. Welcome back to round 3 of the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. A big crowd on hand here to witness the AEW 300. Scott Steckley leads once again here on lap 117 for the 7th restart of the day.
Wow, Dave, 7 restarts tonight. The Wheeling safety crew's been extremely busy here at Barrie Speedway.
Absolutely. Good look at a couple of favorites near the front of the field as well. Mark Dilley in the 9 and Kerry Mix in the BDI 02. And you know what? The track owners here for their real first season of owning this Barrie Speedway have done a wonderful job preparing the facility. Jim Piana, Dave Simpson, and Howie Campbell have done a wonderful job getting things all ready, spick and span when the drivers showed up here today.
Well, for sure, you walk into this little speed plant and everything's where it's supposed to be, and for a bunch of rookies, they did a nice job.
And Mark Dilley wants to lead. As a matter of fact, he's going to move the Herb 22 of Scott Steckley to the outside. Dilley on the inside. He'll come through to pick up 5 bonus points in the Dodge Avenger.
Wow, textbook bump and run. Dilley didn't harm him. He just moved him a little bit going in. Didn't get him all the way out of shape, stole the bottom line, and drove away. He was the faster car.
Andrew Ranger holding down 6th spot as Doug Brown gives chase. There he is, the 4 Home Hardware Chevy is Don Thompson Jr. Remember, he has made a pit stop, so is his teammate, J.R. Fitzpatrick.
We go on board with Ron Beauchamp Jr. in that number 60 Mopar Dodge. They've repaired it and got it back out because every lap is important because every point counts.
That's right. They're about 30 laps down. There's still a lot of cars out there racing, and it's Barrie Speedway. Anything can happen.
We ride on board with a young fellow from British Columbia in his A&W number 21. He's sitting in 12th position.
Chasing the 18 of Kent Noon as the battle heats up at the front of the field. There he is, Kerry Mix on the inside of DJ Kennington. Up into 3rd spot for the Ford Fusion of Mix.
A pair of Ironmen going at it here on the short track.
2 familiar faces on the Canadian motorsports scene as Kerry Mix gives DJ Kennington a little wave saying thank you for not rubbing me too hard as Mark Dilley continues to pace the field here in the A&W 300. Dilley leading Scott Steckley and now seems to have a commanding lead. Todd standing by with his crew chief in the pits.
Reno Mark's made his way up into the lead. How's he doing out there?
Mark's really doing really well right now. The car feels comfortable. We're just taking our time and saving our stuff. So we're doing good.
There's a great crew chief right there. And Reno was an excellent driver in his own right before he took over the crew chief reins for Mark Dilley.
And he's doing a wonderful job here at the helm for Mark Dilley. In a spin, it's the 18 Interstate Battery Chevy Monte Carlo Kent Noon. Up in 1 and 2. He'll get that car righted in just in front of the leaders. So Noon will stay on the lead lap.
Kent Noon causing a little excitement for the leader. Let's have a look at the replay. Down into the corner, he's trying to get past the Peter Gibbons automobile, and he just chops him off. Peter had no place to go.
Time for pit stops now. Todd standing by.
Now they want to make sure DJ doesn't miss it. 2 signs for the 17 Castrol Dodge. The 27 of Andrew Ranger also along pit road. 2 right side tires for both. A wedge adjustment to the right rear of the number 27 Walmart Ford of Andrew Ranger. A little bit of difficulty getting that fuel into the 27 car as well as they make that wedge adjustment.
Wow, that's a long stop on the right side of the 77. They're having trouble on the right front. We'll be back with more. That man, Mark Dilley, leads the charge.
green is once again in the hands of NASCAR Canadian Tire Series flagman Sean Gibbs as he lets him go once again here at Barrie Speedway. And look at the lead Mark Dilley has already going into one.
Mark Dilley jumped off that restart. Now, there is a restart cone up there in the corner, and they talk about it in the drivers' meeting, and I believe Mark Dilley jumped that restart. Let's see what NASCAR has to say about that.
Well, we are hearing from NASCAR Race Control that Mark Dilley is being black flagged for jumping that restart. So Mark Dilley will have to take a drive-through penalty as punishment for jumping that restart.
Well, Mark just made a mental error there, and you won't see many of them from Mark Dilley, but you got to restart at the cones as dictated in the drivers' meeting.
So don't look for Kerry Mix to push the issue too much in the 02 BDI Ford Fusion, as he will assume the lead when Mark Dilley is shown the black flag as Dilley comes out of corner number 4.
Giving the 9 a drive-through penalty for jumping the sucker. Keep going.
That's spotter Susan Mix telling her driver Kerry that the 9 is going to have to serve a drive-through penalty for jumping the restart. Now Kerry has to be real careful here not to get trapped in behind the 9 as he tries to make his way to pit road. Dilley's still under speed, but Kerry Mix will be the leader here shortly. We'll go on board with Mark. Here we are on the restart. See how hard he was on the throttle way before the line, and the cones are another 25, 30 feet further up the straightaway than that. And there's the penalty. Mark's got to serve a drive-through at pit road speed.
Just a drive-through, though. He doesn't have to stop, so it looks like he's going to stay on the lead lap as Scott Steckley comes through to take over the lead once again underneath the 02 BDI Ford Fusion of Kerry Mix, and Steckley resumes the point.
Well, Kerry Mix with a veteran move right there. He knew Steckley was quicker. He got his 5 points for leading the lap. Let Steckley go. It's a long ways to the finish from here.
So the 22 of Scott Steckley, your new leader, Kerry Mix and J.R. Fitzpatrick, second and third. And how about Doug Brown in the Haldex number 10? He's having a whale of a race here today.
Oh, Dougie Brown in that mom-and-pop operation. Him and his father look after this car themselves. A brand-new Mike McCall car, as we stated earlier, and it's working really well for him.
We ride on board with Jason White sitting 14th and now 1 lap down.
Well, that A&W car's hung out the outside, going a lap down. He's up in no man's land here at Barrie Speedway.
Well, you know what? He's learning a lot. They don't have tracks like Barrie Speedway out in BC, so Jason White doesn't have a lot of experience to draw from. He's just trying to get a book together, so the next time they come back, look for him to be a lot stronger.
Well, you think it's a long ways to Ontario for him to race, but out in British Columbia, it's almost this far to go to a racetrack between Vernon and everywhere else.
We'll now hit the Home Hardware Midway update. We've had 5 leaders and 9 lane changes. 8 cautions have slowed the field for 55 laps. The fastest lap, Scott Steckley at a 13.845.
And what a remarkable time that is. That was on lap 13, and it was fast enough to be a new track record, 13 laps in with a full load of fuel.
That would have been a 1/10 of a second faster than Don Thompson Jr.'s qualifying time that put him on poles. We ride on board with J.R. Fitzpatrick.
We listen to that Dodge Mopar power. That's old Scooby-Doo too, as I stated here. Oh, Brownie gets a little impatient and gives him the chrome horn.
But J.R. Fitzpatrick gathers it back up. There's his teammate Don Thompson Jr. lurking in behind as well. Now Brown gets to the inside of the 84 Dodge Avenger, and Brown will take the spot once again. That's third for Doug Brown. Now, you remember the 84 and the 4 made pit stops early, so trying to play a little bit of a strategy card. But a lot of the drivers now coming through the field, like DJ Kennington, made their stops a little bit later on, so they're on fresher tires.
Well, DJ Kennington, that Castro Dodge.
Still there.
Well, we heard the spotters telling him he's still there, but look at that mean green machine, number 17 there. He's coming back to the front.
Battle for 7th spot between the 17 of DJ Kennington, the 27 of Andrew Ranger, and the full throttle Dodge Avenger of Brad Graham is up inside the top 10. Got to give a tip of the cap to Brad Graham. He's having a great drive here today as well.
Wow, what a great sound. And you know, young Graham's getting help from John Logal still. They've got their program really starting to come around.
Okay, this is all right. It'll have to go through it.
That's Dennis Thompson, J.R. Fitzpatrick spotter. Dennis, an experienced racer in his own right, helping young J.R. trying to mix his way through traffic here in the NW300.
Wow, look at that Walmart car. It's just black down the right-hand side as young Ranger has been leaning on anybody that's leanable.
Well, that's what they say. Black down the right side's good. It means you're being aggressive. Black down the left side means you're being pushed around.
Absolutely.
Another one your side. Another one.
He's not having any fun right now. Spotter says, here comes another one.
Still inside. Still inside.
Look at that 77 car. Not a mark on it. Derek Lynch just the epitome of patience. He knows this is a 300-lap race, and he's going to keep that car clean for the end of the race.
Absolutely. That Allied Steel Buildings Dodge Avenger doing a whale of a job sitting inside the top 10 as Scott Steckley puts a lap on the 18 car of Kent Noon. Steckley now opening up quite a gap in the front of the field. By far the fastest car on the track, and J.R. Fitzpatrick goes around. That's up in corner number 2. Caution flag waves.
Wow, let's take a look at the replay. Down into turn 1. Oh, DJ Kennington moving his old Scooby-Doo 2 out of the way.
Scott Steckley is down pit lane. Todd's there.
Leader hits his marks, and it's 2 left side tires for the 22 of Scott Steckley. Pete Gibbons also making a stop. Don Thompson Jr. also taking the opportunity for service. Kerry Mix also having his service done. Once it's complete, it's going to be the race off pit road. Brad Graham, the new leader. Scott Steckley, the first to lead.
Brad Graham in his full throttle Dodge leads the A&W 300 here in round number 3 of the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series on TSN. Green flag waves once again.
As the green flies, the 18 Interstate Batteries Monte Carlo of Kent Noon is the tow truck in a box pre-pass.
And enter Ranger around the outside of Brad Graham. He'll take over the lead for the first time tonight. Looks like Don Thompson Jr. going to try and use that high line as well. He rubs DJ Kennington, but Ranger in the Walmart tied Ford Fusion up in a top spot.
Well, we've been talking about the Dodge horsepower this whole show. And Kerry Mix in a Ford, and now young Andrew Ranger in a Ford at the front.
Still is Brad Graham holding out second. Look at the battle for third, though, between DJ Kennington and Don Thompson Jr. They're side by side through 1 and 2.
Down the backstretch, door handle to door handle.
And you see the number 3, or excuse me, that's the number 12 of John Gaunt. No nose left on the front of that car as that crew has replaced the radiator to get him back out. Try and make some laps, try and get all important points for the Castro points chase.
There's Derek Lynch to the outside. That's the battle for 7th. Him and Tagliani. And the 77 is going to win that battle.
You know what? Tagliani has done a wonderful job. Look at that car. Barely a mark on it. He did go a lap down early on. Got the tow truck in a box free pass. He's been hanging around on the lead lap. And you know what? He's doing a lot of learning, but a lot of racing here today as well.
Oh, for sure. As we ride on board with Mark Dilley. He's trying to get to the inside. Oh, little bumper tag there. He moves Tagliani up the racetrack and scoots away.
And there he is learning the hard way of the title that is Barrie Speedway as Don Thompson Jr. goes around the 19 of Brad Graham for 3rd spot. So Thompson continues his quest up towards the front of the field.
And you see the 17 of DJ Kennington. He sets it down late into the corner, trying to steal that spot as well. Coming up off the corner. Oh, a little bump on the run there, and away he goes.
And Peter Gibbons, you see the nose of that Canadian Tire Monte Carlo tucked in behind the 10 of Dougie Brown. He was at 1.3 laps down. He's now back on the lead lap.
Well, not even talking about the 3 laps. Remember, we go back to the start of the race early on. He was like airborne, almost upside down over top of Simone's car.
And now he's worked his way back up towards the front of the field. You know what? He's a car that we've been watching for a little while. He's burning up this track. Now in behind Brad Graham as Doug Brown got pushed up, lost a couple spots. There is your leader, the 27 of Andrew Ranger.
Down into turn 3, very tricky and treacherous corner. You got to diamond it off and get off a 4 clean. And Thompson stretching away from DJ. He's heading for the front.
Ranger opening up a 3-car length lead on the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. Down the back chute they go. There's the gap back to 3rd spot. The Castrol Syntec Dodge of DJ Kennington.
Well, talking about Kennington, his next race of the Nationwide Series will be at the big track at Daytona Speedway.
That must be something, to go from a track like Barrie Speedway all the way to a big 2.5-mile track like Daytona.
Well, I like to talk about it. You know, the Carl Edwardses, they go on private jets and everything. DJ drives a van from Kentucky back to the Canadian Tire Series.
That's old school racing right there.
You got that right. Good for DJ.
Andrew Ranger losing a little bit of his lead, and here comes Gibbons up into 3rd underneath the 17 of Kennington. So Gibbons continues his charge as well as Don Thompson Jr. has closed the gap on the leader. There he is now within striking distance of Andrew Ranger.
Down the backstretch, you can see a little bit of damage in that left rear corner of Don Thompson Jr., but it's not affecting the performance at all as he's right to the rear bumper of Ranger.
You see some yellow paint on the back bumper of the 27 of Andrew Ranger. That's from much earlier in the event. The 77 Allied Steel Buildings Avenger of Derek Lynch underneath the 19 of Brad Graham up into 5th spot. Dilly gives him a rub as well as Dilly will steal away a spot.
Well, Dilly doing a great job as well. Remember, he just served a penalty down pit road after that bad restart. So he's on a mission to get back to the front.
in sixth spot now. He did not lose a lap after serving that drive-through penalty, but he has yet to make his pit stop. So Mark Dilley still on the tires he started the event with. We ride on board with Don Thompson.
He's not twisting that Chevrolet too high. I'd probably say about 75, 7600 RPM. You'd expect a little more, but Donnie's learned that you don't need a lot of RPM to get them Chevrolets up off the corner.
And the thing is about Barrie Speedway, you don't really need a lot of power too. You'll just spin the tires here as Kerry Mix takes a trip through the grass to 1 and 2. And now Thompson to the inside of Andrew Ranger.
Oh, into the corner of Ranger. But
Ranger to the 4. Clear.
Ranger got a little shook up when they talked about the 0-2 being off the racetrack. That opened the door for Thompson, and then he tried to close it, and it didn't happen.
So Andrew Ranger with a whale of a save up in quarter 4, but trouble on the 1 car. Peter Gibbons, some smoke coming on the back end of that Canadian Tire Monte Carlo, and it looks like he's going to take it down pit lane. Peter Gibbons at a 3rd spot down pit lane, and Todd standing by.
Canadian Tire crew talking it over in terms of a course of action, guys, for Pete Gibbons getting the black flag. Smoke coming from the rear gear. They're trying to figure out a course of action as soon as he hits pit road. He's here now.
A bad day gets worse for Peter Gibbons. 1.3 laps down, got back on the lead lap, up into 3rd as we got a battle for position here. 5th spot up for grabs, and Scott Steckley's going to take it, but Gibbons up into 3rd at 1 point, now sits in the pits.
But there's the race right there. Young Scott Steckley's just on a mission to catch that man, Don Thompson Jr.
You saw a quick glimpse of Joey McComb in the 56. He's back out trying to pick up some laps as well. He was out earlier with some electrical issues. The crew's thrashed. Get that car back working, and he's out turning some laps.
Don Thompson just continues to route through this field, putting good cars a lap down.
There's DJ Kennington with Derek Lynch in behind. You see the 84 J.R. Fitzpatrick. We ride on board with him now. And J.R. is a lap down after having some radio issues during the last caution. And trouble up in 2. It's the 10 of Doug Brown.
Dougie Brown spinning all by himself, and he's sitting in the entrance to pit road.
So caution flag flies once again for the 9th time here in the A&W 300. Doug Brown with not too much damage to the back end of that Haldex Dodge, but they're all chasing the leader, Don Thompson Jr. It's twilight here at round number 3 of the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series at Barrie Speedway. Don Thompson, number 4 Home Hardware Chevy, leads the A&W 300 here on lap 239.
Dave, there's only 8 cars on the lead lap. Kennington and Graham pitted during the last caution. They got some adjustments and some fresh tires.
And fresh tires for the stretch run. Just 60 laps to go now as Don Thompson Jr. fights off a hard-charging Andrew Ranger on the outside. But the 22 Herb Dodge is Scott Steckley, and he's looking to get by both of them.
Well, take a look at this. Derek Lynchman just nice and calm and quiet. Oh, for the first time all night, he gets a little racy.
Derek Lynch into the back of the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. as the Home Hardware Chevy goes into top spot. Now Lynch looking for second. He's alongside that Walmart tied Ford Fusion.
Well, that Allied Steel Buildings number 77 looking real racy with 60 to go.
Another driver who is looking racy and has done a wonderful job here at Barrie Speedway, the 27 of Andrew Ranger. He came here last year with very little experience in a stock car and an oval.
Clear.
As he drops down to the inside, but you know what? He can hold his head high after today's race, that's for sure.
Well, he's got a great crew chief. Billy Burns gets that car set up real. Oh, DJ slides all the way down the backstretch sideways. Him and the 22 got together off of turn 2. What a great save by DJ Kennington.
A big save, and Scott Steckley slides to the inside. Now he's going to move up to 3rd underneath the 27 of Andrew Ranger. So Scott Steckley back on the move in that Herb Dodge Charger. But he gets him up.
Clear. Inside. Clear.
Oh, that's Scott Steckley's spotter. You know what? Steckley's car is a missile. That thing's going to the front.
How about this 77 car? Derek Lynch tucked to the back bumper of the 4 car of Don Thompson Jr. And Lynch looks racy right to the bumper in corner 2 and all the way down the back chute, but now he backs off.
Look at this for position. That's the 27 stuck in the outside. That's for 4th spot. DJ gives him a little nerf on the way through, and they drag race down the front stretch.
You know what? Andrew Ranger twice now has had to grab a handful of wheel in corner number 4 just to keep that car off the wall. He does, and now he's in a battle with the 19 of Brad Graham. Once again, Ranger gets crossways.
Ranger just overdrove the entrance at turn 3, got the thing sideways, and he lost a couple spots.
So Mark Dilley goes up through, and now the 22 of Scott Steckley up to the back of the Allied Steel building, 77 of Derek Lynch.
Do you see that car of Steckley's turn in the middle of the corner? Lynch was waiting on the throttle. The 22 turned to the bottom and throttled off. And look at this. Not even a full lap later, he's taken over the second spot. He's setting sail for the 4 car.
Steckley on the move, so is the Castrol Syntec Dodge of DJ Kennington. There he is sitting fourth, and Todd standing by with his crew chief.
Dave White, DJ was having a tough time handling the car. Is that why you had to change tires under that caution?
Yeah, you know what, Todd? The Castrol Dodge was real tight, and there's only 7 cars on the lead lap, so he thought we got nothing to lose. Only lost a couple spots, came in and put another right front on, a different left rear on, adjusted on it, and great call by our team. It's really working well for us now.
Let's see if it works out for DJ, guys.
Scott Steckley working on the back bumper of the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. He's lighting up those brake rotors. As you can see, as it starts to get darker here, you can see who's working the brakes the hardest as Steckley gets to the inside of the 4.
Well, it was only a matter of time. The 22 was really fast and coming hard. Donnie was using up as much racetrack as he could, but that white 22 is a missile.
So Scott Steckley gives the 4 car a little nudge, pushes him up the racetrack, and now Derek Lynch to the back bumper of the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. But the racing is picking up here in the AW 300. Battles rage all over this tight third of a mile tri-oval. This one for the 3rd spot as we're in the late stages of round number 3 of the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series.
2 of the best right there, side by side. Derek Lynch on the outside, and DJ Kennington in the 17 Castrol Dodge.
We'll take a look at the Mopar Fast 5. Steckley has been the fastest of everybody today. He leads Kennington, Lynch, Graham, and Dilley. The rest of the fastest Mopars here in the late going of the AW 300 here at Barrie Speedway.
Well, all this Mopar money we talked about right off the top of the show, that's what these guys drive Dodges for. And look there's the performance. Scott Steckley leading the show in a Mopar.
And there he goes, Scott Steckley putting Alex Tagliani down a lap. Tagliani doesn't really fight him, just lets the leader go through. And he'll tag back on and try and learn this tight Barrie Speedway. But he's still sitting within the top 10, albeit a lap down.
Take a look at DJ Kennington. He's sitting in 3rd position. He's hunting that 4 Chevrolet of Don Thompson Jr.
But Steckley continues to dominate. Look at the gap back to Don Thompson Jr., who sits in 2nd spot, and off the track, the 21 A&W Monte Carlo, Jason White. Sounds like he burned off the rear end, at least it smells like it, which is a pretty common theme here tonight.
Wow, this place is so hard on rear ends because you're on the gas and you're on the brake, and the ring and pinion just superheats itself in the oil, and if you don't have a good cooler, you're going to burn it up.
And Scott Steckley now behind the 12 of John Gahn, who had troubles earlier on. That's the reason for the body damage on the Centennial Dodge Avenger. And Steckley now dives to the underneath of that 12 car to put him yet another lap down, and struggles with it as Don Thompson Jr. gets by the 60. Ron Beauchamp Jr. closes the gap to Steckley. This could prove interesting.
Well, there's the 19 and the 27. They're racing for 5th spot.
The 0-2 of Kerry makes a lap down after an earlier pit stop, and Graham continues to hold off last year's champion of the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, Andrew Ranger. Led some laps, both those drivers did, but now they're all chasing the Herb Dodge of Scott Steckley. There's 2nd place, the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. White flag out, 1 more lap to go.
4 cars back, 4 back. Nice and smooth now, nice and smooth.
That's great coaching from the spotter. 1 lap to go. He's telling him it's 4 car lengths back to the 4 car, and it's that hits the win. There's Steckley. He put a rout on the field here at Barrie Speedway.
DJ Kennington comes home following Don Thompson Jr., Derek Lynch, and Brad Graham right on the top 5.
Well, there's Randy Steckley and crew there. We're very happy. That's Greg Gibson, the crew chief, up in the box. Thumbs up from him. What a job they did today.
And Scott Steckley captures tonight's Dodge winning moment as he collects the win here tonight, the A&W 300, and celebrates with a few donuts. We'll be back to chat with him in Victory Lane. Welcome back to the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series on TSN. Todd Lewis is in the A&W winner's circle. Todd?
For the second time this season, Scott Steckley is climbing out of that car and celebrating a victory. A long, hard night here at Barrie Speedway, but the number 22 comes home in P1 yet again. Once you took the lead again in this one late, Scott, it was a rocket. Didn't seem that anybody had anything to challenge you.
Yeah, the car's been awesome all year. We tried a lot of stuff last year. We got the car real good. Last year, we just couldn't capitalize on it. We got it handling great. It's got good power, but the main thing is the way this car handles it. Goes through the end so good. It has such good bite coming off. I just got to thank Herb Transport came on board this weekend. All our sponsors stuck behind us. We're just so happy for everybody. My crew, my family, everybody worked so hard.
Congratulations, Scott Steckley. Win number 2 here at Barrie this season.
So Scott Steckley gets a well-deserved drink, and we'll take a look at the rest of the top 10. How about Brad Graham coming home in 5th, Andrew Ranger in 6th here today?
How about 7th place, Alex Tagliani, his first short track, and he's in the top 10.
A late spin by Doug Brown, but he still comes home 9th. And Todd standing by with your 2nd place finisher.
Don Thompson in the Home Hardware Chevy comes home in position number 2. You had an eventful night, got turned around a bit early, but a nice recovery by this team.
Yeah, it really was. You know, Home Hardware Chevy was tight all day, and we battled it all day. It was good in qualifying. We thought we had the car to beat, but once we got some laps on the car, it kept getting tighter and tighter. Crew did a great job. They adjusted it all day, but hey, Home Hardware Chevy in 2nd, that's fine.
Pole position and a new track record and a 2nd place finish for Don Thompson.
Now, Don Thompson in true championship form keeps his consistency going, and that puts him in 2nd in the Castro points.
But you have to look at Scott Steckley, who's extended his points lead from 42 points to 63 points. Rough day for J.R. Fitzpatrick, dropped him from 2nd all the way down into 5th spot, or from 3rd all the way down into 5th spot. So Scott Steckley on the podium. DJ Kennington there in 3rd. Joins Don Thompson Jr. as they celebrate in victory lane here at Barrie Speedway. The A&W 300 has been brought to you by Castrol. It's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering. By Dodge, grab life by the horns. And by Allied Steel Buildings, the leading, most trusted brand of steel building.
Well, there's the top 3 in victory lane, and here comes the A&W Root Beer.
So things wrapping up here at Barrie Speedway. Our next stop will be from St. Eustache, Quebec, the Kodak 250. From all of us here at James Robinson Associates, we'll see you there.